Hello, my wonderful, beautiful, amazing people out there. Welcome to Psychobabble101. My name is Graciela Morcillo and I can't wait to explore the world of emotions with you. In every episode, we will discuss words that express a culturally unique way of feeling, with guests of different backgrounds, because what I feel is not necessarily what you feel. Different folks, different feelings. Let's start babbling. Hello! I am so excited for today. That's our first episode. Well, maybe we start with introducing ourselves a little bit. So, my name is Graciela Morcillo and I live in Berlin. I don't know, I guess I would describe myself as a writer, musician. I'm studying English literature in a master in Berlin at the Humboldt University. And next to me now, my beautiful, amazing best friend,
Tim. Hi, my name is Tim. I am a queer activist here in Berlin. I am in Amnesty International's queer group, Queer Amnesty. It's a love queer. And I'm also the diversity officer for the London-based project IdeaMe. And I'm still a student. And my focus is on gender and queer studies and post-colonial studies. So, yeah. That's all you need to know about me.
And we basically want to just talk about emotions. I think we're an amazing couple for that. Like, we went through so much
together. Oh my God, yes.
So, okay, let's start. Let's get straight to it. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, I think, one of my favorite German words, because it's just the craziest. It's innerer Schweinehund. So the translation would be your inner dog pig.
Yeah, pig dog.
A pig dog. Yeah, true.
Pig
I always confuse them. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it sounds nicer. If it would be an English word, I probably would say pig dog.
Dog pig. Yeah.
Dog. Okay, I'm lost.
Okay,
I'm completely lost. We're just gonna start. We're just gonna refer to it as inner dog pig, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, we're both German. If you're interested in seeing more perspectives also from people who are not German, definitely check out our blog.
And keep watching.
This first episode is just gonna be you and me.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have a lot of different guests in the next episodes, and I can't wait to present them to all of you. We said the first episode should be just us. And, that's not a big deal because yesterday we talked about... We didn't want to get into it, but we were just talking about our brief definition of the word innerer Schweinehund, and we realized it's completely different.
It differs, yeah.
And I wasn't expecting that because I was so worried that we wouldn't have anything to talk about. But basically, you and I, there's some common ground, but still, my definition is really different to yours.
Yeah. And also the way I feel about the concept, I think it's very different for the two of us.
Because my first association was me on a sofa thinking about I couldn't be bothered going outside right now, doing some sport. I know I'm just 26, I should do some sport, but let's be honest, I tell myself I'm too busy.
Yeah.
There's always, if you want to do something, there's always time. You can make time for anything.
Literally.
That's first rule if you're dating somebody.
I was literally thinking about that as well.
If somebody doesn't want to meet you, there's a reason, because if I'm in love and I want to see somebody, I'm going to change all my other plans. I'm going to cancel whatever.
I'm going to meet you.
Definitely. So, okay, but let's go back to... Yeah. So, basically, me on the sofa, really lazy, not doing anything for my body.
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking of in a dog pig.
Yeah.
And your definition was quite different.
It was a little darker. So, when I think of the inner dog pig or pig dog, I think of... it sounds weird, but I think of this monster that lives inside of you, and that sort of drags you down and keeps you from moving forward and from doing stuff, and from it's almost it scares me a little bit almost, it's it's this dark thing.
Funny that you say that, because when I was preparing for our podcast, so if you check out our blog post, you will see we have different artists dealing with the emotion, presenting it either in a picture, in a song, or Well, in this case, we also have some performances
from different cultural backgrounds.
Exactly,
so
from
diversity
different people.
is a very important thing.
That was the main key thought that I had when I started this project. And I asked everybody to fill out a questionnaire where I would say, okay, give me your definition of what inner dog pig, innerer Schweinehund means for you. And exactly what you said. Hannah, one of our photographers, she said, I quote her now, "Honestly, as a child, when my mother used to bring it up whenever I was complaining about something, I thought of it as a huge monster eating up my ambitions and goals from the inside." Quite scary. It's quite dark, isn't it?
That's very dark.
But like it's this idea of a monster. Yeah. Right?
Like a dark force.
Yeah, and for me it was more like a funny little thing. It was just I don't know, for me it's more like a joke.
I mean, the word is funny, right? I mean, like the word is like weird.
Yeah, but if we're talking about a monster, for me it would be like, I don't know, like best friend of a monster just sitting there. It's like, oh, cute. It's like, okay, I'm gonna stay with you on the sofa. You're right, I don't need to go outside. But
I agree.
But then what Hannah is describing would be more like more evil.
Like a source of evil, almost. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, the word, like, if I just rationally think about it, like, the word sounds weird, and I would think of, like, some weird creature. But emotionally, I feel like, almost like fear. It scares me, you know?
Yeah, well, I guess, so just to cut it straight, one sentence, what's your definition?
I think it's something inside of you that makes you drown, that makes you procrastinate. It's the force that makes you unable to achieve your goals and to find your purpose in life and to like do what you're supposed to do, I guess, in your life. It's something really bad. It's the ultimate, it's despair, almost. It makes you unable to act. That's what I think.
So like kind of procrastination.
And it's connected to procrastination in my mind, you know? Yeah. It definitely is, yeah. And
well...
For you, it's more of like laziness, I guess?
Maybe it's just because I'm, I don't know, incarnation of laziness sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, I would agree. Probably laziness is connected to procrastination, so...
But that's...
Well, it depends, I guess. It depends. If, like, I'm happy not doing sport.
Yeah.
Like, I gladly say, my excuse is always, thanks God I'm tall.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I'm fine. If you're happy with the way you are, like, I'm happy with myself, so...
That's true.
Then for me, it's not that dark. But I guess the moment where you're not happy with something, and then, like... procrastinate, then that's when our little cute pig dog, call it what you want, turns into a monster.
And you know, I mean, I was in therapy for 3 years, you know, fighting a pretty severe case of OCD. And this OCD actually, I wasn't able to do the things as I wanted to do them, which means like in order to like not get OCD, I would not do anything anymore, like not read a text for university, because I know at some point I would stop and read the same sentence over and over and over and over again. So that's maybe why for me it's connected to something bad and something that you cannot control. But I also think, because when we talk about laziness and procrastination, I guess it also depends on how you interpret laziness, because
I was
laziness,
going to say,
you know?
like, because I remember it quite clearly, like we were in the library, like literally studying, both of us. We studied in the bachelor's degree, both English.
Oh God,
And for me, like, I'm always pushing through. I once wrote a term paper throwing up because, like, I always do my deadline, whatever happens.
Or
if
crying
it's
in your mom's bathroom.
Oh Jesus, no! Well, we're not going to get there.
Yeah.
We don't start there. But what I wanted to say is still think why it's important to talk about it. It's just because I remember we also once had this talk where it was hard for me to understand why you couldn't push through.
Exactly,
you know?
because...
But, like, that's the thing. That's why it's so important also that, like, inner dog pig can be, like, completely different. Even we have a similar background, kind of.
Because you know why? My inner dog pig almost, like, made I couldn't push through because I had no agency anymore. I couldn't act. It was like my inner dog pick was like tying my hands and putting me in chains, and I had to sit on this chair and I couldn't move, and that's why it's interesting. But also what I found interesting, what you said earlier, is like not doing something, which is, I guess, the idea of the inner dog pick. It's also interesting how like you can interpret that differently, because you can interpret it either as laziness, and then your ideas like lying on the couch, that's just laziness, or you can interpret it as something inside of you that keeps you from achieving what you want to achieve. And then one thing is like a judgment, the other one is more of like,
I don't want to
scary.
achieve to be a really professional sport athlete. That's not me. It's not gonna happen.
Exactly, because you can make a decision, and then And
then you're that's true. That's true. There was another quote that I wanted to discuss with you that I thought was really interesting and goes kind of in this direction. It's of another artist of ours, Karina. And she wrote, "It's difficult to say what it means for me, because the inner pig dog is not an emotion in itself. But what might be behind this expression is the basic idea of pressure to perform, the emotion of possibly being insufficient for the demands society places on us."
But that goes in hand with what I mean, right? It's because, to be honest, I'm a big fan of Brené Brown. She's a professor in, for social work, or in social work. And she has talked about like vulnerability and like basically the fears that we have that keep us from doing what we want to do. And I think that's exactly this definition of Schweinehund is what I feel. It's like, Schweinehund is like the fear inside of you. It's fear.
True.
It's pure fear.
That's true.
And like, not laziness
you could even
for me,
start arguing, why do I even have to explain myself why I don't want to do sports,
Exactly.
It's this pressure that like I should have this perfect body.
That is exactly what I was trying to say earlier, because if not doing anything, if you don't see the cause of not doing something as fear, which is what I'm saying, right? Because for me, I procrastinate because I'm afraid of something, which took me a long time to realize that, and a lot of therapy. But so for me, it's a fear. So that's how I see it. But if you interpret it as laziness, then that becomes a cultural or societal judgment. And that is connected to what you're saying about the body, because they're saying if you don't have the perfect body, then you're lazy because you decide not to do it.
And that's why I even need this word, because like I have to explain why I feel I'm okay with my body, basically.
Yeah.
This is just insane.
Yeah.
But there we go. That's why it's so important to talk about those emotions.
Well, and then sort of like this concept of not doing something, Schweinehund is then used to like body shame you. Yeah. They say basically your inner Schweinehund is so strong that you don't want to have this perfect body. But then that's cultural. Like people are forcing
definitely.
you.
If you think of it, this is a word that only exists in German culture.
Yeah. So maybe it's a concept that keeps us drunk. You know how we're known, like German people are like the stereotype of like the efficient, hardworking, on time, like they work. Maybe it's part of the culture in the sense that this is like a concept, a label that is used to label people who do not work as hard as they're supposed to in German culture, maybe.
True.
I don't know.
Because that actually leads me perfectly to the last quote I want to discuss with you.
Yes.
It's from also somebody who participated, another artist, actually an actor. His name is Daniel. He's going to join us in one of the episodes. So excited about it. So excited. Well, he had a complete different definition and I loved it. I thought it was so unique.
He's a Brit, right?
Yeah, he's a Brit. Yeah. And he said, first thing I thought of was your fighter within. The emotion would be to be focused, ready, possibly angry or stressed, depending on the situation. But I love the idea. I love the idea that it's a fighter inside you, like kicking you to do your things, or like it can be angry as well, but it's like a strong, undefined emotion maybe, but like a source, it's something thriving.
It's a force, exactly. It's like but it's interesting because obviously so the idea is obviously that people from different cultural backgrounds who don't speak the language then have to think about it, because we give them a literal translation, right? And then they have to think about it. But that's quite the opposite of what Schweinehund means in German, right?
It's
but
the like
opposite.
that's the thing.
It's not the inner fighter, it's the inner procrastinator. The inner like not doer, basically.
Exactly. So yeah, honestly, I think this is amazing input for just anybody who's interested in language or like in different words and anything. It's important.
Foreign cultures, like culture in general.
It's important to talk about this.
Yeah.
And well, if you liked it, please check out our blog post.
Yes.
You will have more information about the origin. You will see more interpretation, not only from German people, German artists, but also from non-German speakers even. Some of them, they don't even speak it. And I just translated it to them and I gave it. And I saw the work and it's impressive.
Yeah, there are different pieces of art, you know. There are going to be...
Just check it out. We don't want to say too much.
Check out the blog.
Can't wait for the next episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Bye.